likelihood right now is they take it third overall. They did work out Jackson Dart about a month ago. They worked him out in mid-March. So like that was the first of the private workouts they did. And, now they're getting these three done here at the end, and being with Shedeur today, Jalen Milroe tomorrow, and Tyler Shuck on Saturday. So, I mean, they've run the gamut with all of these guys. And, I think reading into it as like, this is like a new level of interest, or this is like some sort of renewed interest, like I think as much as anything else. And this is, something I wrote the other day. This is John Mara, basically saying to his guys, like, if we're going to pass on a quarterback at 3, like, let's make sure we know what we're passing on. I mean, you may remember 7 years ago, they didn't make a mistake taking Saquon Barkley, second overall, but Josh Allen was under consideration there, and so, if they wind up passing on Josh Allen at that point, I think part of it for the Maras, again is, well, if we're not taking a quarterback at 3 with this crying need we have, with this pick that we have.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINC AM Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 4-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Having a little breakfast and baseball. Nice job, Ricardo. Welcome from Lone Depot Park on a Thursday morning in Miami. 79 degrees. The roof and walls are open, and we're up and at 'em. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. This is game 18 of 162, and there's a couple of things at stake this afternoon. The Marlins will look to avoid being swept for the first time this season and also steer clear of a 3-game losing streak. And this afternoon, we bring you game 3 of this 3-game series between the 11-7 Arizona Diamondbacks and your 8-9 Miami Marlins. It'll be Edward Cabrera who gets the ball on this final day of the homestand. He'll make his second start of 2025. Eduardo Rodriguez will get the ball for the Snakes, 32-year-old southpaw in season 2. He will make his 4th start of 2025. It all starts at 12:10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. What's going on, everyone? Good morning. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Thursday. Jack McMullen, Gabby Sanchez with me. I'm Steven Strom, 12:10 first pitch, Fox Sports 940 Miami. We got a good show for you ahead. We'll hear from Clayton McCullough on a big piece that is going to make his return in the lineup, Connor Norby. I also got a chance to catch up with him down in the clubhouse one-on-one. We'll get you at the count with Cabrera and Rodriguez. Jack and Gabby will join me for some back and forth, our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio. And, of course, Steve's guarantee to victory. So the Marlins have dropped the first 2 games in this set, and it's early on in the year, but you want a little bit of an uplift, and that is going to be the case this afternoon, getting Connor Norby back. He was a prime candidate to break out for the Marlins this season, and his spring was pacing like any other until he left a game on March 22nd after sliding into third base. We all thought he hurt his oblique on the slide. It was not the case. Clayton McCullough the next day confirmed that he hurt his oblique on the swing, not the slide, and he was diagnosed with a grade 1 strain and headed to the IL. The Marlins have not been with him for the last couple of weeks. He played 3 games down in AAA, and it sufficed. Norby is back. He's playing third and batting second here this afternoon, and I was with him earlier this morning talking about his return.
All right, Connor, welcome back. First of all, I know you've been itching to get back with the club and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's an understatement, but yeah, I'm excited to be back, and I've been working my tail off to get back as quick as I can, as smart as I can, but I feel good.
What was it like? I mean, you had a pretty smooth spring, and just towards the end, you get clipped with the injury. How did you mentally kind of get through that?
Frustrated for sure, just because you're that close, 1 and 2, all the work you put in. It kind of feels like you're starting over in a way at times. But with how I recovered, I finished rehab a week ahead of schedule, and I credit that, thank God, first and foremost, but also just busting my tail, like I said, multiple times a day in the training room, coming in during games, getting extra stuff, like doing what I have to do to hopefully help my chances to get back as quick as I did. But yeah, like it was frustrating just because like you want to be there, you want to help the guys, and you want to be a part of wins and just win in general. And I'd been working a lot with my swing, and it felt like my best swing of the spring, and that's the one I got hurt on. And so every hitter is particular about their swing, and when you finally feel something that you've wanted to feel, it's frustrating to have to not even take a swing for 2.5 weeks or whatever it was, 2 weeks. But yeah, like I'm beyond excited to be back.
Let me ask you this: 3 games in Jacksonville, how do you feel like your swing is, I guess, really early on?
I feel surprisingly it felt better than I expected. After not seeing live pitching in a couple weeks, it's hard to maintain that as a hitter when you haven't seen it. But I jumped right in and swinging at good pitches, taking the ones I should, working counts, down with 2 strikes, battling, getting myself back into it, hitting the ball hard, and that's what I just want to continue here. That's the goal.
What'd you miss the most about being up here?
The guys, like I just had you our first 3 wins or come off walk-offs in the first 4 days, and it's fun to watch all these guys that are in similar spots as me play well, and you work so hard with these guys all year, and it's a long season, and you got to rely on these guys all the time, and because they know you more than and understand you more than the people at home. But yeah, it's just this clubhouse. Like, we don't have any guys that are about themselves. It's all about the team here, and it's cool to see, and it's hard to find.
We know you're a Timberwolves fan. Do we have a prediction? Lakers, T-Wolves.
Wolves in 4.
Thanks, Connor. Welcome back.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Connor Norby, who the Marlins get back here this afternoon. He rejoins the club after missing the first 17 games of the season. Norby was a bright spot in a dark time for the Marlins last year. He was acquired from Baltimore with Kyle Stowers, and in 36 games last year, hit .247, 8 doubles, 7 home runs, 17 RBIs. He is inserted in the lineup against the southpaw Eduardo Rodriguez. Norby will play third and bat second here in the series finale. Marlins trying to avoid being swept, trying to get back to 500 and feel good going into Philly. We'll break here. We do have some housekeeping to do. Of course, Connor Norby was recalled. Graham Pauley optioned. We'll hear Clayton McCullough, who he talked on Graham Pauley this morning. We'll get all of that next on the Marlins Radio Network.
10 for his last 28. That's .357. And he's 2 for 3 today. Stowers rips one. That is a fair ball down the first base line. Pauley in to score. X right behind him. Kyle Stowers going line hunting tonight. After a triple last inning, he's got a 2-run double. And it's 4-0 Marlins in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, Parker was cruising through the first 4 innings
To second base. And the 0-1 pitch from Parker. That one ripped over the jumping glove of Bell. That's down the right field line for a base hit. It rolls to the wall. Cruz going to pick it up off the wall. Stowers chugging for third, and there will be no throw. Kyle Stowers with a stand-up leadoff triple. And the homer day in Atlanta on Saturday. 0-2 pitch. That one hit well. Out to right field. Cole is back, and it's gone. It's not a road thing anymore. Welcome home, Matt Mervis. His 4th homer of the year, and the Marlins up 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Next pitch. Conine launches out to right field. Cole on his horse, back into the alleyway, and that one hops the wall. 2 runs come in to score. Conine swaps places with Wagaman, and he's got a 2-run double. It's 6-3 Marlins in the 5th. 2-2 pitch. Stowers hits that one well, out to left center field. Jacob Young working back, track, wall. That's off the base of the wall. Stowers pulls into second base. X comes in to score, and another run for the Marlins with 2 men out. It's an RBI double for Kyle.
Palm Beaches have
7-4
something for
Fish.
everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Well, it's just another gorgeous day in paradise. Live from Lone Depot Park here in Miami on this Thursday morning. Steven Strom, Gabby Sanchez in the fold with Jack McMullen. 12-10 first pitch series finale. Marlins looking to avoid being swept at the hands of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll get a chance to see Edward Cabrera for the second time in 2025. He will go opposite the southpaw Eduardo Rodriguez. And good news, Marlins fans. The Marlins are top 10 in the majors against left-handed starters, a team average of 283, a 772 OPS, which is good for 6th in baseball. Before we get to some sound, take the Marlins wherever you go, download the iHeartRadio app, and make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game. We talked about Connor Norby. He was recalled. He had the oblique injury at the end of spring training, played only 3 games in AAA Jacksonville. But I'll tell you one thing, the individual that stepped up for him was 24-year-old Graham Pauley, who the Marlins acquired from San Diego last year. And Pauley served as the primary third baseman and did a really nice job defensively. He only hit 191 over 52 plate appearances with a couple of RBIs. I think it was 4, but he did fill in admirably for this Marlins team, specifically defensively. We will see him back up at some point, I assume, but Graham Pauley optioned. Clayton McCullough talked about him this morning on what he told Graham when he did make the decision to send him back down to AAA.
I think it was Paul. He was like one. He did a great job. I think defensively he really stood out, and I think offensively the last couple of days he was working with Pedro and Derek. On his moves, some condensing those a little bit. Really just to give him a bit of a chance to recognize and handle velocity. I think we saw him, a nice last at bat, getting to 100-mile-an-hour sinker and putting a good swing on it. So it was much just Connor. With Graham, look, it was nice to get an extended run here. What was different from the previous time? I think he felt he settled in, and then it's just going to be, when he does, and he will come back up here, what are those adjustments you're going to look to make, to perform a little differently?
All right, so that was Clayton McCullough on Graham Pauley, who was optioned yesterday. Man, that AAA team down there in Jacksonville, it already was entertaining to watch with Davison De Los Santos, Augustine Ramirez. I mean, they've got a plethora of guys down there. You add Graham Pauley to the mix. And like Clayton McCullough said, Graham Pauley looked the part. There's no question about it. He had the big home run in the Tuesday exhibition against the Yankees that I think really was an open tryout. He ends up making the team. He was hot early on in the season, cooled down. That's what happens. It's a game of adjustments, especially with the younger player. Graham Pauley is going to learn. This is his second stint up here on the show. He did start with the San Diego Padres 2 years ago when they did go, I think it was to Korea. Was it Korea, Jack? It was Korea or was it Japan? I always forget. I know
It was Korea. 2024 was Seoul, South Korea, and then Tokyo was Dodgers Cubs.
I just didn't want to start naming random countries.
No, you're good.
He did have a first stint there. So second stint for Graham Pauley.
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right, thanks, man. You can go back and enjoy your breakfast, lunch. I don't even know. Is it brunch?
I'm going with lunch in the brunch hour.
Okay, all right, go eat. All right, thank you very much. Let's get you ahead of the count next. Edward Cabrera and Eduardo Rodriguez. 12-10 first pitch. Stick with us on the Marlins Radio Network.
Oh no, stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are
you? Outdoor video board Las Vegas. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Line drive left field. Will it stay up? Conine diving in the backhand. Did he catch it? He did. What a catch by Conine in left field. On the backhand, saves a run, and the Marlins get out of the inning. Wow. What a play by Griff.
Has it first. And the 1-1 from Holmes to Hicks. That one is peeled down the left field line. That's in for a base hit. Edwards comes in to score, and Conine right behind him. Nimmo picks it up and fires it in, but Liam Hicks peels a 2-run single down the left field line. Soft contact and walks. It's 2-0 Marlins in the first. 1-2.
Hicks rolls one down the first base line. That is a fair ball. Pete Alonso takes it to the bag himself, but Conine comes in to score, and Lopez pushes to third base. So a productive RBI out for Liam Hicks. And it's 6-3 Mets in the sixth. 1-2. Hicks rolls one down the first base line. That is a fair ball. Pete Alonso takes it to the bag himself, but Conine comes in to score, and Lopez pushes to third base. So a productive RBI out for Liam Hicks. And it's 6-3 Mets in the sixth. On set at the belt. It is 1-1. Hill lifts that one out to center field and deep. Tyrone Taylor back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Derek Hill with a 2-run opposite field blast, and all of a sudden, it's a 1-run game. 6-5 New York in the sixth. That's Hill's first homer of the year. He is on the way. And that one is lifted out to left center field. Conine got a good break. Conine drifting back. So is Hill. Derek Hill dives, and Hill makes the catch. Derek Hill.
With Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Listen to your Marlins on the go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Back here at Lone Depot Park in Miami on this Thursday. It's still the morning. It technically is a little breakfast baseball. Marlins on deck. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Gabby Sanchez. How about Gabby Sanchez? Pinch hitting. The guy's been everywhere, and he is going to join us this afternoon. We're excited to have Gabby back in the fold for not only today, but for the rest of the season. Okay, let's get you ahead of the count. Let me start with the visitors. We'll do Edward Rodriguez, 32-year-old southpaw, who'll make his fourth start of 2025. He comes into this afternoon 0-2, a 4.86 ERA over 16 2/3. Now, the whole story with Rodriguez, he had a rough first season. He inked a 4-year, and this isn't the rough part, 4-year, $80 million, God bless you, with the Diamondbacks back on December 8th of 2023. However, he was placed on the IL with a left shoulder strain. He did not make his first start with the Snakes until August 6th. So his 2024 was really a wash, 10 starts, 3-4, a 5 ERA over 50 frames. His last start against the Milwaukee Brewers, though, in 2025, 6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 95 pitches. Rodriguez offers a 4-seamer, a changeup, a sinker, a slider, a cutter. I told you the stat before. The Marlins are top 10 in the majors against left-handed starters, a team average of 283, which is best for top 5 in baseball, and a 772 OPS, which is best for 6 in the majors. He will go opposite Edward Cabrera, the 27-year-old right-hander who made his season debut last Friday. He did not factor. The Marlins did lose 7-4 against Washington. He allowed 2 runs on a Josh Bell 2-run home run on 4 hits, 3 walks over 5 2/3, 5 punch-outs. He did fall 1 out short of a quality start. I mentioned he gave up that home run against Josh Bell. That was the final batter for Cabby. 79 pitches, 47 strikes. He generated 11 whiffs. That changeup, which I guess is called a turbo change, was at 95. It was lethal. His last outing against the Arizona Diamondbacks, though, was on August of the 20th last year. 6 frames, 3 runs, 3 punch-outs, and 3 walks. We know Cabby was really the only consistent starter for the Marlins, aside with Trevor Rogers, who was eventually traded. He did lead all Marlins in strikeouts last year with 107. Clayton McCullough, what are you looking in and anticipating for with Edward Cabrera this afternoon?
Eddie, the attack mentality he had the first time, where, attacking the strike zone early, the mix is great with the fastball. The changeup is certainly unique, and his ability, I think he spun the curveball really well in his first outing. So it'll be with Cabby today. Can you try to grab count leverage, be able to mix your pitches, and put those guys on their heels.
McCullough on Edward Cabrera. We know the story with Cabby. He's got to throw strikes. He's got to play in the zone, but he's going to have to be careful with this Arizona Diamondbacks offense that has played at 16 runs over the last 2 games here in Miami. Let's break. We'll get Gabby and Jack on next. 12:10 first pitch series finale from Miami on the Marlins Radio Network.
Defensive back or receiver. 3-2 pitch. Bride with a little bouncer. Gore picks it up down the third base line. He dives to try and swipe a tag, but Stowers by him. 1-2 pitch. Shinohawk grounds that one up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Wagaman comes in to score, and Javier Shinoha knots the game at 3. An RBI single. And the Marlins are cooking again with 2 outs.
Well, another short, compact swing on a curveball from the Nationals. Pitched around Mervis on a couple occasions.
0-1 pitch is hammered out to center. Young is back. Track wall. It is gone. Matt Mervis, a 3-run pinch hit homer. And the Marlins are up 7-3.
At how they're missing calls when they're set up over the shoulder.
2-2 pitch is lofted into shallow center field. Young sprinting in. Young dives, and he can't get it. You got Hicks around third. He's getting the run around home. Everybody up a base. The throw in into second, and Liam Hicks comes in to score. That'll be an RBI double for Otto Lopez. Edwards goes first to third, and Hicks scores from second on a ball that just got past the diving center fielder Jacob Young. His way into trouble, and Lopez doubles in a run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-3, and Kyle Stowers powers one out to right center field. That splits the gap, and one hops the wall. 2 runs coming to score, and Kyle rips one out to right center field. 110 off the bat, and it's a 2-run double to make it 10-3 Marlins.
And financing at 0 down. I'm thrilled and I'm safe. Call Loctite Impact now at 954-500-LOCK. That's 954-500-LOCK, or visit LoctiteImpact.com.
Back here at Lone Depot Park here in Miami. Series finale between the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. Want to throw to the rejoin here if we can, Ricardo, because I want to get some sound on Connor Norby and his return.
Pitch to Connor Norby, ripped on the ground. That's a fair ball in the third base line. That got all the way into the corner. Stowers around third. He's coming home. Connor Norby has an RBI double.
Connor's going into the season, figured he'd be a big part of our lineup again. To have him in there, to be able to lengthen things out some. We're excited about that. I know Connor is as well. He brings an edge as well. Glad to get him back in there today.
Well, Gabby, if it was any indication of what we saw last year, he came on the scene, a 10-game hitting streak from Baltimore, him and Kyle Stowers. But any indication that it was like last year, it should be a fun 2025 for Norby.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, look, it's another year of growth for him. So he learned kind of last year what pitchers are trying to do to him. Now he's got an understanding of that. He brings an edge to the lineup, and that's kind of what I love about Connor Norby. There is that winning mentality that he does have, and you kind of saw that, last year where he wanted to go out there. He kind of wanted to take the team on his back. So it really is nice having him back in that lineup. The team is playing good baseball. You ran into a really good Arizona Diamondbacks club.
Yep.
But, you look at yesterday's game, hanging with him there. Today with Connor Norby, it's one of these getaway days. I could really see him go out there and really be like, hey, let's go, guys, and get everybody in that dugout going.
What does he add to the lineup, Jack?
I think with Gabby, he adds that edge, and it is cool. And, it's not like you're adding a 6-hitter, not like you're adding a 7-hitter to this lineup.
Right.
I mean, he's immediately in the 2-hole. And I think when you have a guy that immediately comes back into the top of the lineup, obviously a subdued thing because I'm going to bring up the best second baseman in baseball. But when Ketel Marte comes back for Arizona, think about what that does for the lineup. They add maybe their best hitter. And Connor Norby, by the end of the year, I mean, we were sitting here, mid-January, early February, saying, who's the best hitter on this team? It might be Connor Norby. There's a non-zero chance that the Marlins, when it's all said and done this year, just added their best hitter. Now, I think Xavier Edwards is off to an amazing start. I don't think he'll cool off anytime soon, but you get to add one of the best hitters in your lineup back into the fold. It's really great. Also, by the way, real quick,
Go
How
ahead.
cool do Gabby Sanchez and I look right now?
You look really cool.
Sunglasses
For
on.
our StreamYard audience, they're both wearing sunglasses.
I gotta take a photo
I'm
of
not
this.
wearing sunglasses. I guess I didn't get the memo, but whatever. You guys look cool, and I
Yeah.
guess I'm up here just chilling with no sunglasses. But I'm not in the sun, which is okay.
Steven, can I get one more quick thought there?
Of course.
So
You don't ask, you just talk.
Here's the thing. When you talk about Connor Norby, just like you said, you're adding a power guy. Nothing against Graham Pauley. I thought he did great defensively.
Yeah.
But offensively, he did have his struggles. Where all of a sudden now you get Norby out there. You know what he could do defensively. You saw it last year, athlete at third. But now you're all of a sudden getting another guy in the lineup that could hit the ball out and all of a sudden make the score kind of shrink up a little bit or expand and add on. So that is why having Connor Norby back is huge for this team, because you're able to put him out there. You're able to have, X get in front. Now maybe X steal a little bit more, getting himself into scoring position a little bit more, knowing that you have Connor Norby right behind him.
Yeah, it's felt good to get Jesus Sanchez and now Connor Norby back. A lot more pop in the lineup. I do want to address, though, Graham Pauley. He was optioned. And, Jack, I guess I can't call it a chapter, but how would you write the short story that we saw from Graham Pauley?
I think he made a positive impression on the Miami Marlins. I think this guy is leaving the Marlins in a better place than maybe we initially forecasted him leaving it, where this guy was like, okay, how's it going to go at third base? Is it going to be Pauley and Wagaman and Sanoja? Is it going to be a mishmash and you're buying time until Norby comes back? That was not the case. I mean, Graham Pauley handled the bulk end of the platoon. If there was a right-handed starter for the opponent, Graham Pauley was playing third base, and he did a really good job defensively at third base, and he had some early hits that were really important. I thought Graham did, based on expectations, I thought Graham did a great job. I'm excited to see Graham when he comes back, but he joins, like you mentioned earlier in Marlins on Deck, a phenomenal AAA team. And Norby was talking about it during his media availability today in the clubhouse. It was like, what was that like being in Jacksonville? It's a really good team.
Feels like a big league team maybe at times. Okay, the avenue to victory today. Gabby, you've been here for the last couple of years. You've seen Edward Cabrera. I don't feel like saying the same stuff, man. Like, he's got to throw strikes. He's got awesome stuff. He's probably has, like, one of the best raw stuff in all of baseball. But what's the avenue to victory, you think, for the Marlins to avoid being swept by the Snakes?
Well, of course, it's going to have Edward Cabrera going deeper into the ball game, maybe to get into that sixth inning. To me, too, you got to trust in that fastball a little bit more. You're 97, 98. You can even touch triple digits with that four-seam fastball sinker. And then his last outing, and it was a good outing, but it was 73% off speed. And that's, for me, a little bit too much for him. And I get it. He's got that power changeup that gets into that 93 to 95, which is almost like a fastball anyways. But still, I want to see a little bit more command with that fastball, especially up in the zone.
Young Jack.
Yeah, Cabby, it's interesting, and I thought that he was a good tone setter. I was a little distracted by this robot dog wearing a Marlins hat on the jumbo
doing
truck.
push-ups.
Doing push-ups with Billy watching
cool.
and guiding him. But, no, I think with Cabby, it's going to be really important to pound the strike zone, and he pounded the strike zone last time out, and that came on the heels of his last rehab start in Jacksonville, where he was 53 pitches, 41 for strikes. This
tasty.
guy has stuff to survive in the strike zone. We've talked about this. The Marlins pitching mantra, they put it on the daily sheet for all these big leaguers every day. Throw nasty strikes. Cabrera is nasty. If he throws nasty strikes, he gives himself an opportunity to beat any lineup in Major League Baseball, this one included. And I know it's one of the best, but if he is in the strike zone with that nasty stuff, he gives himself a chance to compete.
Fabulous stuff would be an understatement. Good job by both of you guys. We'll talk to you at 12:10. Gabby Sanchez and Jack McMullen have your call at 12:10. Let's break. Expo question of the day at Steve's Guarantee. And then we'll play some Marlins baseball right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
It's a backer, a receiver.
3-2 pitch. Bride with a little bouncer. Gore picks it up down the third base line. He dives to try and swipe a tag, but Stowers head by him. 1-2 pitch. Sanoja grounds that one up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Wagaman comes in to score, and Javier Sanoja knots the game at 3. An RBI single, and the Marlins are cooking again with 2 outs.
Well, another short, compact swing on a curveball from the Nationals. Pitched around Mervis on a couple occasions.
0-1 pitch is hammered out to center. Young is back. Track wall. It is gone. Matt Mervis, a 3-run pinch hit homer. And the Marlins are up 7-3.
Get how they're missing calls when they're set up over the shoulder.
2-2 pitch is lofted into shallow center field. Young sprinting in. Young dives, and he can't get it. You got Hicks around third. He's getting the run around home. Everybody up a base. The throw in into second, and Liam Hicks comes in to score. That'll be an RBI double for Otto Lopez. Edwards goes first to third, and Hicks scores from second on a ball that just got past the diving center fielder Jacob Young. his way into trouble, and Lopez doubles in a run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-3, and Kyle Stowers powers one out to right center field. That splits the gap, and one hops the wall. 2 runs coming to score, and Kyle rips one out to right center field. 110 off the bat, and it's a 2-run double to make it 10-3 Marlins.
Marlins games, announcers, and more Marlins games. Did I mention the Upper Marlins?
Stream now. Number 1 on your car radio preset hand, the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WINCA in Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good.
Don't miss a moment of Marlins action. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 the top preset. And then listen to every single Marlins game. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Gabby Sanchez. What are we, about 12 minutes away from first pitch? Edward Cabrera will make his second start of 2025, going opposite the lefty southpaw, Eduardo Rodriguez, who is looking to sweep the Marlins. And the Marlins are battling a couple of things here. They have not lost more than 2 games in a row. They have not been swept. Hopefully, we can have a nice, happy flight to Philadelphia. Again, Edward Cabrera will have a big say here this afternoon. Let's get to our X-Poll question of the day at Marlins Radio. What year did the Diamondbacks play their first season? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. It's time for Steve's Guarantee. Hold on the Steve's Guarantee for a second, because I think I might want to edit here, because I talked about Derek Hill trying to get going again, and I think we see Clayton McCullough giving him a bit of a breather here. But I did talk about 7, 8, 9. And Ricardo, you let me know.
Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
I'm not gonna lie, I got on the back end of the lineup. 7, 8, 9 yesterday was 0 for 9. Griffin Conine, Javier Sanoja, and Rob Brantley getting the start this afternoon. They have to lengthen this lineup. I'm not going to go with the normal take of telling you Connor Norby will get a couple of hits. I like 7, 8, 9 here. They've got to lengthen the lineup, especially against this Diamondbacks team that's plated 16 runs in the last 2 games. Again, Conine, Sanoja, Brantley, I like them to have a combined 2+ hits tonight and 2+ RBIs. They have to lengthen the lineup for Miami. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Gabby Sanchez, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami Marlins baseball. That's next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and